Hey, what's up? I'm Rafael Di Furia, aka Rafi D is me, and I am back at it again on another Tuesday evening rather than a Friday this week. But don't worry, there will be a Friday this week. This video is kind of a part one to what I will be talking about on Friday night. This is just a little in-between video. This is not one of my main normal Friday night videos, and this Friday night, I do have the plan to talk about kind of what is actually happening here on the ground a little bit more, because I really do feel that there has been a horrible misrepresentation of what is actually happening here. When I'm reading through some of these stories and when I'm watching them from various news outlets, I'm like, but wait, what country are they talking about? It feels like we're talking about two different Italys here. And it seems as though I'm not the only person who feels this way. So keep an eye out for this video on Friday night. But tonight, let's talk about some of the representation that's been in the media. I've been reading a lot of news stories, watching a lot of coverage about the current situation here in Italy, and I have to say, it's almost frustrating. Not almost, it is frustrating to see how poorly Italy is being represented in the global media, even by Italians or people who are living here. There are a lot of people who are sensationalizing this situation, and there are a lot of pieces coming out, a lot of articles that are masquerading as what looks like proper news. This is the situation, this is what's happening, but they're actually just opinion pieces. And not only that, it's a very poor representation of the situation. There are a number of articles I've seen, but one of them just happened to pop up on my radar today. It is currently Monday, March 2nd, and this article came out on February 29th. And the title is, Italy shows just how crazy coronavirus panic can get. Just even within that is clickbait, sensationalizing the situation. And as somebody who lives here on the ground, I have not seen any panic. Yes, there is concern. There is definite concern, but I have not seen anybody going completely crazy over this situation. There are people who are taking precautionary measures, but nobody's going out in the streets like they're making it out like it's World War Z here. But at the same time, even there's the meme that's been going around. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, like what the media says is happening in Italy versus what is actually happening in Italy. I would say both aren't exactly correct. I would say the picture that it shows Italians drinking wine and Prosecco and all that stuff is true to an extent. It's just not happening as much. There are a lot fewer people going out. There are a lot fewer people going to bars and restaurants and these sorts of things. And even today here in my region in the Veneto, they've just released new restrictions on what you should be doing, how people should be handling the situation. To have meetings and groups of people getting together is not being allowed. And even at restaurants, they're saying there has to be at least 1 meter in between people so that it can't be spread. But I have heard some sources saying that 1 meter is not enough and that it actually should be 2 meters in between people. So let's say about 3 feet and 6 feet roughly. But getting back to the article, from the way that a lot of it is worded, you can tell that it is just meant to elicit an emotional response. And so for the people who are talking about the panic in this situation, in my opinion, seem to kind of be making it up. Even when I've gone out during the situation, people are pretty relaxed. You do feel that people are a bit tense, but panic is not the word I would use. It is far from it. Again, back to the article though. Italians refused to go to Chinese restaurants and shops when the virus first emerged. Now they are being shunned worldwide. The stigma is spreading faster than the virus itself. From the way that this is worded, it is making it sound like Italians were the first ones to do it, and because Italians are doing it, the rest of the world is doing it. My opinion, if it's an Italian person saying it, it's almost kind of egotistical to kind of say like, oh, Italians are the one who are setting the way. Sadly, there are people out there who are treating people based on the color of their skin, race, ethnicity, whatever you want to call it, because of the current situation. But this is not something that originated here in Italy. I've been speaking to people from around the world and everybody has noticed this. It's not just here. It's not just there. Sadly, this is the global situation where people are being treated a certain way because they have been associated with the global situation. This is not any defense of it. This is not any kind of defense of that behavior. Again, to me, this is just another example of sensationalizing the situation. Rome, the smell of sanitizer in a public space. If it is a proper article reporting on a situation, it does not normally start out with a sentence, Rome, the smell of sanitizer in a public space. Like, come on, really? This is clearly an opinion piece, an op-ed, an opinion editorial. And it does not say anything about an opinion piece here. So this is very irresponsible reporting, because it says here on the screen, correspondent at large. If this is a news correspondent, why is this an opinion piece? It is masquerading as proper news. This is no better than just a regular blog. And I realize that's what this video is. This is an opinion piece. I'm not trying to masquerade as any kind of news source. I'm not giving any advice about what you should do, and I'm not trying to represent myself in any way like any kind of official authority figure. This is just a guy recording a video. At least that's the first thing you notice almost anywhere in Italy right now. Again, no, you don't notice that almost anywhere in Italy right now. Let's just quickly talk about the person who wrote this article, Barbie Latza Nadeau. I feel like I'm mispronouncing her name, but I think she's misrepresenting the situation, so big deal. Anyway, Barbie Latza Nadeau, correspondent at large. Why is it everything now? It seems like any time, editor at large. What the hell is this at large? It makes you sound like some sort of convict at large, on the loose. Well, that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, correspondent at large for the Daily Beast and author of you can read this on the screen. Unfortunately, due to the situation on YouTube, there's certain things that you just can't really verbally say and can't really talk about. So I'll let you read through what she has written, and has reported from Italy for Newsweek since 1997 and the Daily Beast since 2009. She's also a CNN contributor and frequent writer for Scientific American, and then how you can get in contact with her. And it seems as though this is not the only article she's written on the subject of this current global situation. And just one other thing that I'd like to add, shouldn't a person who's in the country, in the nation's capital, know what's going on, like from their first-hand experience? Shouldn't they be able to properly report on what's happening? Wouldn't you think that would be the person who would be maybe least likely to actively misrepresent the situation? And getting back to the article, late on Friday, the safety level was raised to the ominous level 3. Ominous, why does that word need to be in there? Just about anybody who has any kind of an idea of that system will know that level 3 is not so great. But ominous, again, it's another example that this is an opinion piece masquerading as a proper report on the situation, which will almost certainly set off global panic about this country. I don't disagree with that, but I can't fully agree with that either, because there's not really a panic going on. But because of this situation, even actually where I live in Veneto and Lombardy, the CDC has actually labeled as level 4. It doesn't go above level 4. But again, this just seems like very irresponsible reporting. And even here it says, but does canceling your trip to the Bel Paese make sense? The experts say no. Of Chief Medical Officer for Helix International, I don't know what that is, Dr. Adrian Heisler, talking about the situation. So that's one expert, but there are other experts who many of us have heard of before, the CDC. And again, here back in this article, the ominous level 3 that they're talking about, let's go see what that actually says, because I think it's also a little bit of a misrepresentation of the situation to just say ominous level 3 and not what level 3 is, because there are definitely a lot of people who do not know off the top of their head what level 3 entails. So let's take a quick look. So even here on the website of the CDC, on the Italy page, for if you go onto the travel section, traveler's health, traveler's notices, coronavirus in Italy, warning level 3, it gives you the information of what level 3 means right there. Avoid non-essential travel. But then if we go to travel.state.gov, another American authority on this situation, Italy travel advisory, Italy level 3, reconsider travel. This is probably a better place to get an idea of what the levels are. And even here, it says level 4 for Lombardy and Veneto, due to the level of community transmission of the virus and imposition of local quarantine procedures. On the right side of the page, it gives you clearly what these levels are. 1, normal precautions. 2, increased caution. 3, reconsider travel. 4, do not travel. So there are parts of Italy which they are saying do not travel to. This is not a good idea. But if we look back at this article, ominous level 3, It is not giving the whole picture and the whole story. And even with other articles that you can find online, the wording of it is very interesting in my opinion. Yes, the numbers in Italy are climbing. They are climbing and climbing. But that is because Italy is testing. That is because Italy is being very cautious about the situation. There are some countries that are not testing or only doing minimal testing. So I can't help but wonder what the actual number of cases are out there, because when we're looking at the numbers, we're only talking about cases reported. This doesn't mean that there are only X amount of cases in a place. Especially having worked in the news field, this is something that I get very annoyed with and very frustrated with when I see a partial representation or a misrepresentation or just a blatant misrepresentation like this. I think the Daily Beast with Barbie Latza Nadeau, as well as other sources, have been doing a poor job on reporting the situation and, like I've said, representing op-eds as factual pieces. Yes, there are facts in here, but they are sprinkled in with a lot of opinion. Even the page, like I mentioned in my video from Friday night about from Visit Italy, there was another post that they have been doing, in my opinion, a lot of irresponsible posting. And I'm not saying specifically them, but I have seen various businesses around the world seeming to downplay the situation, like really downplay the situation, simply because it might affect their financial situation. There's currently just a lot unknown. Yes, at this point in time, from the way that we understand this situation, as it stands right now, what's understood is that this outbreak, in comparison to past outbreaks of larger global situations, as we'll call them here, but in this case, there seems to be a lot more reaction from governmental bodies about being very careful with this situation, as well as airlines and so on who've canceled their flights, as well as travel and health insurance saying that they won't be covering this issue. I even spoke with a friend who lives here in this country whose mother is a doctor and who's been getting emails from public officials. And just everybody saying is they don't know what's going on. There's a lot that is unknown. And especially, again, like I mentioned in my last video, that there is this incubation period, which I mislabeled in the last video. But because there is such a long incubation period, potentially, at this point, what's agreed upon by most sources seems to be that it's 14 days. But again, there are some places saying that the incubation period could actually be longer. So I can't help but wonder if the numbers will be growing or not. Because if the incubation period is longer, then this is just potentially the beginning. But if the incubation is only 14 days, then maybe we'll reach the peak of the situation very soon. But again, I'm not a doctor. So these are just some thoughts of mine as a regular guy looking at the situation and wondering what's going on. Anyway, keep an eye open for this Friday night. I'll be doing another video talking more about what is actually happening here in Italy rather than how it's being represented. Let's talk about what is really going on. So if you're not already subscribed, be sure that you're subscribed for more content like that about moving to Italy, Italian dual citizenship, and living life abroad. And like I mentioned in the comment section of last week's video, I chose not to monetize that video, and I'm choosing not to monetize this video either. I just do not feel it's appropriate. But if you do feel you would like to help make content like this possible and to help support this channel, you can go to rafaeldifuria.com/Patreon to become a monthly patron, and you would be directly helping to make videos like this possible. So a big thank you to those of you who have been helping to make these videos possible. Anyway, again, I am Rafael Di Furia, aka Rafi D is me. I look forward to seeing you all this Friday night. Hopefully before Friday we get some better news. But anyway, I'll see y'all next time. Later.